Hello, this is Angelia with today's wisdom. Today's wisdom comes from Daily Ohm, answering the call, taking responsibility for your destiny. And you should be doing that. You know, your destiny is your destiny. You're supposed to take responsibility for it. There are those of us who believe that our lives are predestined and that we should resign ourselves to our lots in life. And if you believe that, that's kind of sad to me, because you're not resigned to, what fate deals you. There's all kinds of stories and myths and things about that. But you can always take steps, even if something doesn't happen for you. You can take steps to make it happen and make your life more like what you want it to be. You don't have to sit back and let life happen to you. You can go out and make life. Yet the truth is that it is up to each one of us to decide what that destiny will be. And that's true. You decide what your life's going to look like. If you're letting other people decide what your life's going to look like for you, then it's going to look like what they want it to look like, not what you want it to look like. While each of us is born with a life purpose, it is up to us whether or not we will say yes to fulfilling it. So many people don't live up to their potential because they accept the status quo. They do what's expected of them, and they don't do anything else. And then they're moaning about their life. It's so terrible, sad, they're miserable, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's your choice. That's your choice, to take that and sit back and, live life. Now, there are situations we can't help. Some things we can't help. But mostly you can. Get up, do what you want to do, within reason, of course. There's some folks that shouldn't be doing things they do, but within reason, and make the life that you want. And just like when we choose what to eat, who to keep company with, and whether to turn right or left when we leave our home every day, choosing to say yes to your destiny is a decision that can only be realized when you take action to make that choice a reality. Because, again, if you don't take the actions to make the things happen that you want to happen, they're not going to happen. Like I say, no one's going to drop it right into your lap. That's not going to happen. Now, sometimes that does happen. Sometimes a chance thing happens and it feels like, it's a gift from God, and it might be a gift from God. He might be saying, hey, check this out. Come on. Get some mobility here. Get some movement happening. So the choices you make define your reality. So think about that before you make choices. Whether you believe it is your destiny to be a parent, an adventurer, an artist, a pioneer, or a spiritual guru, saying yes to your destiny is only the first step. So that's the most important step, though. Taking that first step to do what you want to do. That's the hardest step, and it's the most necessary step. Because until you take the first step to do what you want to do in life, you're not doing it, are you? While manifesting your destiny starts with knowing what you want and believing you can attain your goals, there are then the actions that must be taken and the decisions to be made before your destiny can truly happen. So again, you have to take steps. And like with my coaching clients and my students, I'd say make an outline. What do you want to do? 1, 2. And then you'll find there's going to be a 1A. And then you're probably going to find there's going to be 1A1. And if you make an outline of what you want to achieve, and you start writing more things in, and you start checking them off. And that's the important part. You can see the growth. You can see things happening as you check them off. And then you realize, I can do this. I am in charge of my life. And I can make this happen. And that's very empowering. When you take responsibility for fulfilling your destiny, and begin acting with the intention of doing so, you not only take fate into your own hands, but also you become the hands of your own fate. So, you're not just sitting back and letting fate happen to you. You're taking your destiny in your hands and molding and shaping it. As if your life were clay. You either just let it sit there like a lump, or you shape it into what you want it to be. Doorways inevitably open for you to step through, and every choice you make can be a creative act toward realizing your goals and dreams. And that it should be. It should be. Like I say, I talk to so many people who are miserable, but they're not doing anything about it. It's like, okay, so you're miserable. What are you going to do about it? I don't know. I just feel like I'm trapped and I can't do anything about it. Not true. That's your choice. If you choose to be there, then that's your choice. But if you choose to not, that's a choice too. You begin to follow your instincts and intuition, recognize opportunities when they are presented to you, and seize those golden moments. Because we all have instincts and intuition, but so many of us didn't have the best situation in our lives, and so have low self-esteem. So you second guess yourself. That is a habit of people with low self-esteem. You don't feel like you're good enough to make a decision, or you're not smart enough, or whatever. So you second guess yourself. And when you do that, you derail your own train of destiny. So stop doing that. Opportunities come your way. But if you don't feel like you're good enough, and your self-esteem says, I can't do that, couldn't do that, then you're not going to do that, are you? You also begin to recognize the decision that may not serve this greater picture and can more easily push them aside. People come at you. Somebody's always trying to sell you something. But I've had people come at me and just push, and I'm like, no, not interested. That's not right for me. I had some people were making some money in a way that I was not comfortable with. I felt like it was dishonest. I felt like it was against the Bible. And I would not participate when they started getting in. I told them, this is this. And my face says, no, you don't do this. So I'm walking out now. They're like, but you can make money. And I'm like, there's more things in life than money. So I'm walking away from this because I'm not going to be involved in this. And their little deal fell apart. But there's always someone who's trying to get you to make decisions that are not in line with your destiny. I know myself very well because I spent years in my 20s and 30s, up into my 40s, learning about myself. Going to therapy, going to groups, self-improvement books, self-improvement groups and events, So I have a good handle on who I am. And if what you're wanting me to do is not in line with who I am, I'm not going to do it. I've worked hard to be a good, intelligent, loving, decent person. So if that is not also your deal, then we're not going to get along because, I'm going to do what I think is right. And if you're doing something I think is wrong, I'm just going to be like, yeah, I'm not okay with that. That's the wrong thing to be doing. Once you know your own self and you have a feel for who you are and you know who you are, all those other little messages bombarding you, which happens all day long, you can just push them aside. Just push them. Think about, we was talking in one of my workshops that I did about life's table, that you have the 4 pillars, spirit, mind, heart, and body, holding up your life's table. And if somebody puts something on your table that you don't want on your table, you can push it off. That's your right. You can keep on your table what you want on your table. And if someone puts something on there you don't like, push it off. They don't have a right to be on your table if they're not, enriching your life in some way. Remembering that the decision to fulfill your destiny is always a choice can be empowering. Because, of course, it is. You have the choice to do or not to do. Knowing that you're fulfilling your destiny because you want to, rather than because you have to, can make a huge difference. And people know that by working at jobs you don't really want to work at. You have to go to the job to make the money. But you want to do this other thing because it's what speaks to you. It's what calls to you. It's what you feel like you're meant to be doing. So all of us in life kind of have that cognizant dissonance where it's a struggle between what we have to do and what we want to do. And that's where we need to find balance. You have to do what you have to do, but you also need to make time to do what you want to do, or you're not going to be happy in your life. You have to have balance. When you are freed from obligation, obstacles in your way become challenges to be overcome, and the journey becomes an adventure rather than the obligatory steps you are forced to take. And, we all know that. Like on our vacations, weekends, we're doing stuff we want to do, and it makes us feel so much better. We're so relieved, to not have to do things we have to do that we don't necessarily want to do. And it's like, since I had to retire, I'm building the life that I want to have. I had to work for money like everybody else. And then there became a point where I couldn't do it anymore. I was working a physical job, and then I started developing osteosclerosis in my hips and things. And my doctor said, you can't do this anymore. You need a desk job. So I moved to the desk job, and then it got to be where I couldn't sit at the desk and bend down, do file cabinets and stuff, and drive to work all that far without having back spasms and things. So I couldn't do that either anymore. So, I end up quitting and been working from home for quite a while now. And that's what works for me. It might not be what works for everybody, but it's what works for me. Now, I'm not making the money I did when I was out there. But, I'm doing what I can do because I can't do that anymore. So it makes a difference. It really does. Your destiny may be waiting for you, but whether or not you meet your destiny is up to you. Because again, no one's going to drop it in your lap. It's very rare that happens. Sometimes that happens. I've had different times where somebody did something like that, and I'm like, thank you, Lord, because I know that was him. Nobody gives you anything just out of the blue usually. It's a very rare, nice person that you come across that does something like that for you. Your fate is in your hands, and that's the truth. Until you take steps to make your fate what you want it to be, life's just happening to you. You're going down the road of life, and life's just happening to you. And if you let that happen, you're never going to get where you want to go. You're just going to keep following the road until you hit the end. We all know what that is. If you don't, it's when you die. So you just run down this road and get to the end. But, there's lots of stuff to see and do, on the side of the road. So get off the main road. Go have a life. So, if you want to take responsibility for your own destiny, answer the call of your heart, your mind, your spirit that's telling you, I want to do this. Answer the call and do something that's going to make your life what you want it to be. Think about it. Please like and share this wisdom so we can spread it around the world. If you want to help me out, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to help me out even more, go to my Patreon page and become a patron. Thanks for watching. That's all for now. Until next time.